like to hear a funny story from my first conference?
Yes.
So, this might spook you a little. It spooked me just a tiny bit afterwards, and I'm thinking, oh, geez. So I show up for this first conference pretty early. I get there. I am the second person to walk into this conference room. The first person's one of the presenters. And they're like, oh, usually somebody else shows up with me. He's got the clipboard to check everybody in. So I busy myself looking at this beautiful aquarium wall that's the backdrop and just chit-chatting with a few other people that are showing up. Right before the conference starts, I realized I haven't checked in yet to this conference. And I'm looking around and I see people going to the back, the guy with the clipboard. And he looks pretty official. You know, all these guys from Bass Pro, they're wearing these name tags. The presenters are in their shirts with their National Shooting Sports Foundation badges and all these fancy logos on their shirts and everything. And I walk up and I look, and the presenter with the clipboard says FBI on his shirt. And I'm like, hi, I'm here to check in for the conference that I registered for. Last name is, and I give him my last name, and he looks at me, he goes, I know who you are, Maggie. I did not register with my nickname. I registered with my given name for this conference. And so that was just this surreal moment. And he goes, that came out kind of wrong. He goes, I am a big fan of the channel.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm a big fan of it. He goes, so I have YouTube going on in the background while I am busy doing other things. Well, it's just background noise, kind of like having a TV or a radio on, he says. And your video came up where you were talking with Mark that you would be attending a conference, a NICS conference, a National Shooting Sports Foundation conference. He goes, I had to go back. I had to stop what I was doing and hit rewind on that video. And sure enough, and he goes, I had the list of FFLs that signed up. And sure enough, there was Gunner's Firearms on the list, and I'm going to meet Maggie.
That's awesome.
And he's like, here's my card. If you need anything, if you have questions,
that's cool.
Please reach out. We're here to help. I may have been the first person at that conference to get his card. I was absolutely not the last or the only person to get his business card at that conference. They were there to provide information and support to us dealers to the best of their ability.
Well, and that was going to be my question. What was the FBI doing?
So they were there to explain how the background check system works.
Oh, how fascinating.
The FBI was there to provide information on how these background checks are run, what they're looking for, what is causing the holdup with a lot of you people. And there are 3 outcomes to a background check. There is a proceed. We call you up sometimes and go, hey, you got to proceed on your background check. And you're like, what does that mean? That means you're good to go. You've passed through the NICS system, and you may now acquire that firearm and walk straight out the door clean and clear. It is your baby. There is a delay. That means that by name only, first name, last name, you have matched up with someone with a criminal record in one of the 4 NICS databases. So the NCIC, the National Crime Information Center, the III, the Interstate Identification Index, the NICS indices, and also the ICE, the Immigration and Customs.
So a NICS is really 4 background checks?
yeah, that
wow.
your name is passing through 4 filters there.
Interesting.
And
I didn't know that.
and we're checking to make sure that, and by name only, if you get held up on a delay, it is name only. your name matches someone in that database. It's probably not you. Most of the time it really isn't you, but somebody else has the exact same name with you. They don't have to be related. They can be on opposite sides of the freaking country.
With my name down in Springfield and Branson area, strangely causing all sorts of trouble.
Have you ever purchased a firearm in that area and potentially been held up? Okay.
But I use my middle name, and he's got a different middle initial.
Okay, so
I think that might be what
that does help.
Yeah.
Also, question 16 on Form 4473 says, if you have a social security number, it's optional. It's not required, but that is one additional point that differentiates you from somebody else that potentially has your same name and is on a list of registered offenders or felons or domestic violence or illegal aliens or someone who is not lawfully or legally supposed to be here or lawfully or legally supposed to own firearms.
Okay.
So it is a name-based check only. Question 17 on Form 4473 is your UPIN, Unique Personal Identification Number. A lot of you do not have one. A lot of you do not need one. That is an additional identification marker, and it means that you have willingly submitted to a NICS check through those 4 databases. You also send in a photograph and fingerprints, and it proves that you are you, and then they issue you a unique personal identification number. Different than anybody else. It's different than your social security number, but for some of you with very, very, very common names, this stops you from getting denied erroneously for the purchase of a firearm. And in some cases, it can make the delay time and the processing time of your background check much shorter.
Well, now, I find that interesting because I believe the state of America right now, in general speaking, is anything you can do to kind of eliminate any sort of trouble you might have, you should do. For example, like everybody in our family went and got a global entry card. That way when we come back into the U.S., we're like, even if because with everything going on with immigration right now, it was just our way of being like, let's bypass all that. And
let's cover
CYA. Cover everything. There's a bunch of us in this family. Let's say. So I think that's interesting. I did not know. Do you mind listing the 4 different background checks again? I'm sorry, just real quick.
Your 4 databases that NICS check runs you through is the National Crime Information Center, the III, the Interstate Identification Index, the NICS indices, which is just an aggregate of everything. This is also state point of contacts, can add things to that. So if somebody locally is running amok and is known to be,
that's where it would find it.
Yep.
The indices,
and then you've also got ICE, the Immigration and Customs for the non-U.S. citizens. Most of them that are here legally, and that percentage that is not supposed to legally be here. For people whose green cards have been expired for many, many, many years, get it all squared away and in order. And you really, so that's.
Now what else the FBI have there?
So they really went over just the, this is way, way, way too much stuff. It's out of order.
Like a big picture. How about a big picture?
So what prohibits a person from purchasing a firearm?
Okay, interesting.
So
there's a good list right there, man.
So the prohibition list. I deal with these every day. You deal with these every time you purchase a gun from a licensed dealer.
So it's really the yes or no questions?
This is question 21 and all of its letters. Letter A on page 1 currently, all the way through letter N on page
So,
2.
yeah, we won't make you read all that.
So
check out your nicks. Yeah.
This
That's
is
prohibition.
your prohibiting list. If you have any questions on what these questions 21A through N mean, guess what? There's more pages back here. We've been over this before, but it lists the definition of everything on there. Question 21A all the way through question 21N. It goes all the way through it. It answers and clearly defines everything in very fine print. They went over this. They went over this for every FFL. For some of this, it's a dumb moment.
Well, and again, we mentioned in the other video, there is people there that are just starting.
Brand new.
And
brand new.
You got to start somewhere. So
you really do.
Yeah.
So this was absolutely awesome information. Yeah.
That's great. So generally speaking, does it feel like was there big things you learned from the FBI? Was there anything just generally like, man, that was some good stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are tremendously normal human
Right.
beings, just like you.
Uh-huh.
They are just like me. They are just like my badass cousin back there. They are just like every single one of you out there. They want to have a freaking great day. They don't want to have to.
Well, and kind of like the ATF, they're cops, essentially. They're federal police. And they're wanting to stop crime.
Yes.
And depending on who the current regime leader is we have in this country, they then appoint people over them who then say, all right, we're going to then do all this nonsense. And then they're the boots on the ground that have to somehow filter through new policies, new rules, new this, new that. Meanwhile, they're trying to stop crime.
Yeah. Just have a little less hate in your hearts for people who are trying the best to do the job with the rules and the parameters and their current boss.
As many of you may or may not know, about a year ago I was dealing with a very serious heart condition. And through some procedures and a dramatic change in my lifestyle, I've found my way to a whole different level of health. And one aspect of that, and it's something that I believe is extremely important to talk about because Americans are not talking about it. I've really never heard anybody talk about it, to be quite honest, is the health benefits from the super hot peppers like a Trinidad scorpion pepper, because that has been one aspect of what I have done over the last year. Is a friend of mine who lost 110 pounds in 7 months just drinking a drink that he made with Trinidad scorpion peppers. I've been doing that as well. I saw how it changed him. I wanted in on that. And what it has done is it's been one aspect of it. Of course, diet, exercise, that sort of thing is very important as well. But what this has done is not just allow me to lose weight, but I sleep better. I have a better outlook on life. I was actually having lunch with the guy that makes this the other day, and his brother committed suicide. He was dealing with addiction, he was dealing with depression, and he committed suicide. And my friend believes wholeheartedly, had he invented this drink before that, he would be alive today. And I kind of question that, like, well, that's a big statement to make. But ultimately what he's claiming is the capsaicins in those super hot peppers really satisfy your pituitary gland, which is the basis of addiction. And if you watch Johnny Schofield on YouTube, check him out. But he's fought addiction, and now he's addicted to hot peppers instead because it satisfies that same desire. So I think it's important to talk about better outlook in life, sleep better, lose weight, fight addiction. The link's below. Check it out. Just drinking Trinidad scorpion peppers, and it is hot. I'll give you a little warning, but he's taken out the binding agents that, so when it's hot, it's only hot for like a minute or two. It doesn't burn for hours. So there you go, man. I couldn't put down Trinidad scorpion peppers. This is how I do it. That link is below.